Good evening, Knicks fans. It's your boy. And you are now tuned into another episode of OU and Knicks podcast. I know ain't nobody in here right now, but I'm still going to get to talking because no one probably even knows that I'm broadcasting right now. But yes, we seen the Knicks lose in a heartbroker, heart wrencher, just an all around, hurtful game, even though it went down to the wire. And I know most people might be down right now, but you can't be down because you got to understand, for the matter of fact, that the Knicks got here in the first place. That's what matters. The Knicks were able to get to the playoffs. And I'm not saying that, you know, it wasn't a game that I felt like could be better. And I'm going to get to that. But it was a game that I am no less happy that we made it. So for the Knicks fans out there who may be, you know, in a precarious position, I should say, from how you may feel at this point in time that they went through that loss, I must tell you, yes, there is next game. So let's get down to it and let's talk about the things. First and foremost, the Knicks came into the game very slow. They weren't moving the ball. You seen a lot of hero ball at a time that there was supposed to be no hero ball, which came from Julius Randle. And I'm not going to say for a fact that it was Julius Randle's fault. No, it was multiple teammates. It was the whole starting five, you could say. When we first came into the game, it was a lot of holding ball. It was a lot of not reading and stopping Trae Young from going to his right. And I gotta say, in the beginning, Peyton was holding Trae Young to the point where Trae Young wasn't trying to, exploit the Knicks. But what really hurt the Knicks was that the Knicks couldn't make shots. Julius Randle couldn't make shots. Reggie Bullock couldn't make shots. And any time that you come into a game and you're not feeling it or you're not already hot and you can't get it going fast enough, the team will build a lead. And for the majority of the game, you've seen the Knicks trailing from behind trying to do some catch up. And that's not going to get you anywhere in any game, whether it be the regular season or the playoffs. If you don't try to get going, attack the basket, get open threes that matter, you get what I'm saying? Then you're never going to go anywhere in the game. So, what I want to say is the Knicks have to get going in the first quarter. You cannot fight from behind in the playoffs. That's never going to get you anywhere. That's never going to get you any type of, win in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen. So something that the Knicks need to do and work on next game is getting started, and I need for Julius Randle to take it upon himself to attack the basket. Draw the foul. Because I feel like if we really put our mind to, we could have had Clint Capella in foul trouble in the beginning of the game. That would have made way for our bigs to be able to stop, Trae Young with Clint without risking the alley hoop to Clint Capella. You get what I'm saying? So the Knicks need to, in Julius Randle specifically, he needs to attack the basket. He needs to get to the rim and score and draw the foul. You can't rely on the three-point shot in the playoffs. You have to do what you do best. RJ Barrett, I understand that you don't get fouls all the time and the refs ignore that, but you still have to attack the basket. And I definitely love what I saw from RJ Barrett in the second half, but I'm going to touch on that later. The main thing I want to touch on with you guys is Julius Randle has to attack the basket. You can't spend the playoffs trying to get mid range shots. You can't spend your time in the playoffs trying to get the 3-point shot. You have to collapse the defense in order to get those 3-point shots. You see what happened when Burks at the end of the game, what helped him out so much was Derrick Rose collapsing the defense to where he could get it out to Burks in time in order for him to shoot the 3-point shot. So that's something that I need to see from the Knicks in the next go round, because you're gonna have to you have to attack the basket. You cannot live with the 3-point shot. And not only that, you get fouls and you get to get your rest because you're at the free throw line. Then not only that, you can set up your defense. And we already know once the Knicks get set on their defense, the Knicks is a hard team to score on. So that's something that I definitely need to see from Julius Randle. You have to attack that basket. And the same thing goes for RJ Barrett. You have to attack the basket. That dunk that he did on Kevin Huerter, and that even though that was a foul that should have been called, what I wanted to see from Barrett is, listen, attack the basket, man. Attack the basket, man. And you're going to eventually get those calls that you don't think that you're getting. Eventually, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, you're going to get those calls. So Barrett, again, you have to attack the basket. And if you are new to this channel, and if you're viewing this right now or at another time and you're liking what I'm saying, make sure you drop that like button and hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned, because I will be uploading all through the playoffs and giving you my input on what the Knicks did and what the Knicks should have did. So second quarter comes around and we see Quickly come in. And you know what? I'm going to go back on a little bit. I want to talk about Elfrid Payton. See, before the game even started, I was saying to myself, Elfrid Payton should come off the bench. If you have Derrick Rose starting, which will attack the basket, which a person who will attack the basket and make Trae Young work. If you have Derrick Rose starting and you're attacking the basket, by the time Quickly or Burks come in, most likely Atlanta is already in foul trouble. So that's something that I need to see from Tibbs in this next go round. I understand that you like Payton. I understand that you want to see Payton do good. But the thing about with Payton is, not only does he miss his shots, but most of the time he's scared to go get his shot. So it forces him to hold the ball for amount of time, to now when you do give up the ball, it's only 6 seconds to work with. Derrick Rose needs to start for the Knicks. That way you'll have more pressure on Trae Young in order for him to guard. I understand that Rose is not the guard that's gonna lock down Trae Young. I understand that. But if Trae Young has to work on the defense, that can work out in favor for the Knicks. Because as long as Trae Young is just sitting there, not guarding anybody, he's gonna retain his energy. It's no point of letting him retain his energy into the fourth quarter, where he could use that energy against you and can attack the basket more and draw fouls more. So that's something that I definitely need to see from Coach Tibbs. It is time to make a roster change and move Derrick Rose into that starting lineup, because if you continue to have Payton in that starting lineup, you will continue to lose games. His minutes are being used for naught. If you want to substitute with defense, that's when you put Frank in. You don't put Frank in at the end of the game to, where he doesn't even know where he's supposed to be. I seen at the end of that end of the at the end of the game where he put Frank in, Frank was asking where I'm supposed to be, where I'm supposed to be. Next thing you know, even though Trae Young killed him, but still, if Frank got legs already and he's already in tune with the game, it's a possibility that he already know that Trae Young is going to make that move, so he could maneuver better. But you don't keep him put him in 2 times in a game only for 30 seconds. That's not going to win you a ball game if you're planning on using this player for defensive purposes. But the main thing that I want the Knicks to work on is putting Derrick Rose in that starting lineup, because you have to make Trae Young work on defense. You have to collapse the defense in order to get a good shot from either RJ Barrett. If you notice, the majority of the shots that Reggie Bullock got, RJ Barrett got, even Burks got, those were heavy contested shots. Why? Because they are not driving into the paint and collapsing the defense. Now, again, third quarter, we saw that the Knicks were only down 2. And like I figured in the game, I figured that RJ Barrett was going to make a run. Why take RJ Barrett out? I understand that Quickly has helped. I understand that Rose has helped. But once you get to that fourth quarter and you've seen that RJ Barrett has been eaten in the third quarter, usually Tibbs will leave RJ Barrett in to start the fourth quarter. I feel that's something that he needs to go into again, because RJ gets in his bag when Julius Randle is not on the court. RJ Barrett typically has the ball and continues to make plays when Julius Randle is not on the court. So the best thing for Tibbs to do is in the fourth quarter, if RJ Barrett has it going, you have to let RJ Barrett cook in the beginning. And that not only, it helps Julius Randle. It gives him his rest. Especially if he don't went off in the first half like Julius Randle is known to do. That's something that made me not really too mad about this game, because I'm like, oh, Julius Randle not really even having a good game. He's not efficient from the field. He only made 1, 2 threes during the whole game. He's not being as aggressive as he usually is. So, I mean, I have high hopes for the next game. But what the Knicks will definitely have to do is change that starting lineup and put Derrick Rose in there so you can make Trae Young work. Because if you continue to have Peyton in there, it's like idle hands. You don't know what to do with them. They're going to end up doing something wrong, which in most cases is something that Peyton does. He ends up holding the ball too long to where he's giving it to RJ Barrett with only 4 to 6 seconds left on the clock, and he got to do something spectacular with it, which is not a position that you want to put a sophomore in, a person who's his first time in the playoffs. So I feel that right now is the best option for the Knicks is not to play Elfrid Payton. He can't shoot. He's scared to drive to the basket. And when he does drive to the basket, he misses. What's the reason of having Elfrid Payton in your starting lineup? I understand he's there for defense, but I could put Frank Ntilikina in that position, and Frank Ntilikina might hit a few threes. You never know, and still maintain his defense. You have to do what's best for your team in the playoffs. You have to do what's best for your teams when you're trying to win a game. So that's something that I definitely want to see from Tom Thibodeau. But otherwise, it was definitely a good game. It definitely was a good game. And I knew that the game was going to come down to the wire. I knew that the Knicks were going to go on their runs. I knew that Trae Young was going to go on a rampage. This is something that I knew. But what I didn't think was that Julius Randle was not going to have it going in the first quarter. So Julius Randle, he needs to work on his work on his game to where he's not dribbling into triple teams again, because I've seen a couple of those. But he also needs to drive to the paint and make the defense collapse. And if you see the triple team coming, before you drive out, pass it out. Before you see, even if you see the double team coming, pass it out. Don't just run into the paint like a chicken with your head cut off or to get hurt. I'm just saying, I need to see more collapsing of the defense to get the shooters open. And I need to see Derrick Rose start in the game to make Trae Young work. Because if you're not going to make Trae Young work, then you're going to have a hard time in that game. Otherwise, I love what I've seen from RJ Barrett. I know that the Knicks probably came in with a little jitters, but I think I want to see. I need to see better, especially from Julius Randle. I need to see better from him on how he's planning to lead this team, and not saying all be all like it's the Knicks is gonna lose this round or the Knicks are gonna get swept. No, I believe that the Knicks will come into next game and win, but there's certain things that the Knicks are going to have to work on in order to get that win and to continue getting wins. Other than that, it was a very good game. It went down to the wire. I like the smack talk from, Trae Young at the end. I hope that boosts Julius Randle up to where he want to go on a tear when he comes back. Other than that, it was a definitely good game. Not as efficient from the 3-point line because there wasn't enough collapsing the defense, but it was a very good game. It was some high moments, especially with Burks. Burks did what he was supposed to do. And I respect Burks. And no, I don't want him to, start. But I love Burks coming off of the bench. I call him the agent. But the agent did what he was supposed to do tonight. But I need to see more from Julius Randle. I need to see more attacking the rim from RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett missed a few chippies in the beginning, but I'm used to seeing that from RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett usually doesn't start cooking into the third quarter. So, I could live with what I've seen from RJ Barrett. I just want to see him start in the fourth quarter if he got it going in the third quarter. Because I've seen and I've noticed when RJ Barrett has it going in the third quarter, he typically carries it over to the fourth quarter and he goes on a total rampage and it gets Julius Randle and Derrick Rose some rest. Emmanuel Quickly, this kid is marvelous. He has the heart of a lion. And yes, I did see a few, passing mistakes from Quickly, but overall, Quickly did have a good game. And one thing that I felt that Quickly did, and Miss Lee had to remind me of, because she's seen it and I didn't even notice it, when Trae Young was driving inside of the paint, Quickly was already there and he could have got that charge. I feel like Quickly should have stayed in the paint and got that charge on Trae Young, because it wasn't Trae Young, or was it Herder? Young. It was Young. So Trae, if Quickly would have stayed where he needed to be and got that that charge on Trae Young, the Knicks were already up. I believe that would have propelled the Knicks to a win. See, it's simple things like that. Little things like that the Knicks need to do, in order to win these games. Julius Randle needs to start hot in the first. He needs to be the one to come out and say, yes, let me get it going. Yes, he hit that 3 in the first quarter, but overall he was like 2 for 8 in the first quarter. End up going like 4 for 12 in the first half. That's not something that we need to see from our leader. We need you driving to the paint. We need you putting Clint Capella on a vegetable roll and munching on him. We need you to be the leader, the lion that we know you are. We need you to uplift this team because if you're not in the game in the beginning, how can we be in the game in the beginning if you're our leader? You ever heard the saying that if the head ain't good, the body is weak as well? The same thing goes for the leader of a basketball team. If you're not getting it going in the beginning, we seen that earlier with the Lakers in their loss to the Phoenix Suns. Anthony Davis couldn't get it going. Yeah, sure, LeBron James was getting it going, but his crime partner didn't have it going. So what was it for LeBron James to do? That's why they lost the game. Exactly the reason why the Knicks lost this game. Because Julius Randle has to get it going. He has to get it going. And if he doesn't get it going, the Knicks will continue to lose. Our leader has to start the game on fire. He has to let the Hawks know, listen, I came to play. And to the point where they are fouling him to not be able to score. That's how Julius Randle has to play. If Julius Randle is going to be tentative and don't want to go in the paint and just want to shoot threes and shoot mid-range shots, even though we've seen him make it, the Knicks will continue to lose because the atmosphere on the playoffs is it slows down. They already know your offense. They already know what you good at. Julius Randle all this season hasn't been a person who really dominated going into the paint. But he's known for that already. Julius Randle has been cooking with mid-range shots, three-point shots. Okay, you're in the playoff now. That's not going to happen. Yeah, sure, when they get tired of you driving into the paint, scoring on them, they're going to open up the floor for you. That's when you take that three-point shot. But make sure that they fill you down low in the paint. And that's something that I feel that not only Julius Randle, but RJ Barrett has to work on as well. Next game, they're going to have to be more mindful to the pass, more mindful to how many drives they take into the paint. We need to get Atlanta Hawks in foul trouble in order for us to be able to pull out this game. Sometimes Trae Young is going to have to work. We're going to have to put him in foul trouble because if he's laying off on the defense and retaining his energy for the offense, the Knicks will continue to lose. But overall, man, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you're not too hurt about this. It was a very close game, a game that the Knicks could have won if it had not been for that last couple of minutes into the game, because the Knicks did go up by 3. So this is not something to hang your hat on. This is not something to keep you up all through the night on, because it was a 2-point win from the Atlanta Hawks in a hostile crowd with a few costly mistakes that the Knicks made at the end, that being Julius Randle that pass that Alex Burks threw in at the end that Julius Randle could barely catch. I believe that Rose was open on the side and he would have had a better shot or a chance to get a foul. RJ Barrett was also open on the other side of the court. Not only that, the play with Trae Young driving into the lane that quickly could have got there first and he could have took the charge when the Knicks was already up. I believe that was a pivotal play in the game. And that play from Julius Randle, you need, and another thing about Julius Randle too. Julius Randle, you need to stop getting into your emotion and taking bad threes. This is something that I've seen from you during the season, and I've said it on my podcast, and I'm going to say it now. You need to stop getting frustrated. If you're going to get frustrated, at least drive to the rim. If you're going to get frustrated, don't just chuck up a 3. You see even Emmanuel Quickley at sometimes. We know Emmanuel Quickley can shoot from 40. Sometimes he had to calm down like, okay, I'ma drive it in. Don't get frustrated and continuously try to hit the step back three because it doesn't always work. Other than that, man, I hope everybody had a good night, man. And please don't wear this on your chest on Twitter. Don't bomb Trey Young, profile talking mess to him. The Knicks only lost by 2. That could have easily swung the other way. It was just that the Hawks got a few lucky bounces. And Trey Young is a monster. So this is not something for the Knicks to hang their hats on. But this is something for them to want to learn from and want to come back from in order to be a better team. Because this is far from over. It's only one loss. Until then, peace.